What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as promised, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to build your warrant officer package. So I'm going to start from the very beginning, go through how to check your qualifications, how to build your package, what forms you need, and kind of all this involved. So let's go ahead and start from the very beginning. So you can go ahead and just Google warrant officer recruiting, and it'll be the first link from U.S. Army Recruiting Command, and that'll bring you to this page. All right, now the first thing you want to do is check your qualifications. So there will be general basic qualifications to apply. So the GT score 110, U.S. citizen, high school graduate, GED. You can go through these qualifications, make sure you meet all the general qualifications. Then you go ahead back here to Army Warrant Officer MOS feeder list. Now there is also MOS feeder lists for other branches, but we're going to go ahead right into Army, and I'm going to show you guys mine. So if you take a look here, you can look. All of your primary MOSs are listed on the right-hand side, and the warrant officer MOSs are listed on the left-hand side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take you through mine and kind of show you what the qualifications are for mine. So mine's a 914 Alpha. So this is kind of what the warrant officer career path entails. And these are the minimum prerequisites, okay? A Sergeant E5 or above, 24 months of primary ordnance MOS, documented on NCOER. So that was a big one that I ran into. It used to be 48 months. So you see even here it says with less than 48 months, must offset lack of experience with certifications, credentials, technical training, or equivalent civilian experience. So then you go through ALC graduate, 6 semester hours of English. That's pretty standard across warrant officer. However, if you didn't know, they have a new, so if you don't have 6 semester hours of English, you're able to do these Principio classes online, which will count as the English prerequisites. Okay, so your physical profile must not be less than that. And it's all, like I said, these are all MOS related. So yours may be entirely different than mine. And then if you look through here, here's some of the preferred qualifications, right? Some of the preferred certificates and technical qualifications for my job. Like I said, yours may be entirely different. Now, here's a big one, right? So NCOER criteria, all right? Raider bullets and comments reflecting exceptional performance. So this is a big one that I've heard that hems up people on the board, and that's one that I had struggled with because I had 3 years of recruiting. I needed more NCOERs, strong NCOERs in my MOS, all right? So this is a big one. Make sure that you know, whether you're just getting started, building your packet or working towards it, make sure you go through and iron out your NCOERs. Make sure you're getting good NCOERs, and senior raider comments are extremely important. All right. Now here's a big one. Okay. Senior warrant officer letter of recommendation. Like I said, different MOSs have different requirements for this, but mine is a CW3 or above in 91, CMF 91. And they even list like people that you can contact if you don't have one in your chain. Ideally, they want you to have one in your chain, to get it from somebody in your chain, which is better anyways, because they should have, you're able to brief them on, you know, jobs that you've done, things that you perform. So, but these are the contacts in the event that you don't have that, or you don't have one in your chain. Yeah, they're right here for you. Okay. So these are the big ones. Go through, make sure that you meet all the qualifications, and then sit down and talk with a warrant officer in your chain. Even if it's a warrant officer 2, warrant officer 1, build that rapport, and they will more than likely have a good contact for you to reach out to a CW3 or higher to get that letter of recommendation. And make sure when you're presenting yourself, right, this is your career, this is your profession, and you want to reach the next level and get promoted. So come prepared. What I recommend, I had my packet entirely built, my letters written. I even wrote the letters for the warrant officer and my battalion commander, so your squadron commander. I wrote the letters of recommendations, so that way they're able to go through and see what I've done, what I've accomplished, and they're able to make tweak and tune, or if they want to rewrite the whole thing, that was on them. But I came prepared in the event that they just wanted to, you know, make some minor adjustments and sign it. So, but come prepared with your resume, what you've done, where you've been, and all of that. And I'll kind of dive into that here in a second. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to wait on this when do I apply, because I'll talk about that in a second. But we're going to go to how do I apply. This provides all of the information you will need, okay? All of your forms, all of your submission instructions, everything that you need to build your packet and submit your packet is right here. They provide everything for you. They even have examples of most of the documents, okay? So, and they will have a checklist. See, this is your application checklist, and it'll show you all in order. Try to zoom in here a little bit. So these are all the items that you need, right? And now some of these may not apply to you, okay? But the majority of them you are going to have for your packet. So these are the big ones. Letters of recommendation from your company commander, battalion commander, and senior warrant officer are the big ones that are going to apply to everybody. But as you can see, as an example right here, group commander for 180 Alpha only, right? So it's going to tell you what may or may not apply to you. But most of these you're going to have, and all of these forms are, most of these forms are on the website. I'm going to show you here in a second. So big ones too, academic evaluation reports, yeah, NCOERs for the past 10 years, okay? College transcripts, professional certificates and licenses. You want all of this. You want to have as much stuff in this packet to show the board that you are a capable worker and you're technically qualified to become a warrant officer, because that's what a warrant officer is a technical expert. And a lot of these are just the supporting documents. So most of these forms are on the website. I'm going to show you here in a second. But so that's what it's vitally important, that if you are looking to do this, you start as soon as you can and start putting all these documents together, because it takes a long time. You got to get signatures from S2. You got to go get a warrant officer physical. You got to do blood work and labs and all kind of stuff. It takes time to put this packet together. The big one I'm going to show you here in a second, your resume, right? There's an entire resume of your civilian and military career. It's your life, and you have to take time and really write it and reread it and write it and reread it and make sure that it's grammatically correct, punctuations, capitalizations. It is vitally important, because they're going to look through this with a microscope, most especially the main portion of your resume. I'm going to show you here in a second. So if we go back to the warrant officer recruiting website, you can see all of these forms are listed here. So you click on them, download them, save them, and you can edit them in Adobe. And they have all your waivers, ETBs, templates, and kind of what you need. So everything you need for your packet is right here. And even they give you so they even have a briefing slide and videos, and they have common application errors, common errors they find on packets. So it's really fail safe. You can take your time, go through this, but it takes a little while to get the packet together. So please, if you're looking at doing this, trust me, it took me way longer to get all these documents together than I thought it was going to. All right, so here's a big one. I was talking about the resume, okay? Now this is an example one off the recruiting website. But if you look here, right, you list the top 3 MOS, warrant officer MOSs that you would like to have. These are all your previous units and your previous military experience. Then it'll go into civilian experience, your military education, so every military school you've ever been to. Let me see. These are all military education. And then here is the big one, okay? This is your summary, is your biography, your resume, your plea to the board on why you should be selected as a warrant officer in your MOS, okay? The resume is the display of abilities to communicate effectively in writing and pay attention to detail. Write a few paragraphs describing technical and exceptional qualifications. Use correct spelling and syntax. Keep descriptions concise and easily understood by board members unfamiliar with the specific MOS. Avoid overuse of acronyms. Reiterate previously mentioned significant accomplishments or achievements. Describe differentiating knowledge, skills, and abilities. Reasons to apply for applying to become a warrant officer, or long-term military career plans as a warrant officer. So from my understanding, right, from what everyone has told me, this is the main thing out of your entire packet that they read and they go through with a fine-tooth comb, and they understand who you are and why you want to be a warrant officer. So here you can see all the waivers and ETPs. This was a big one, the approximate time. So this is why I'm saying as soon as possible, you need to start getting your packet together, because you don't know what things. I did not know I needed a waiver, a medical waiver for some stuff, some stupid stuff that happened a year prior that I haven't had any incidents since. I needed a medical waiver, and I had no idea. So that had pushed me back. I had to go see the PA and get a waiver, get a memo signed, and then get the waiver approved. And it takes an extra 4 to 6 weeks. Where is it? Right here. 2 to 4 weeks. They want you to submit, and I'm going to show you here in a second the submission dates. They want you to submit your waivers 2 to 4 weeks prior to the recommended submission date. But I would recommend even as soon before that. Don't go on based on these timelines, because I've already been waiting. I just missed the board. I'm waiting. It's been 3 or 4 weeks since the board, and my packet still hasn't even made it to medical waivers. So don't go off these guidelines. Submit your packet as soon as you can, and it takes a while to get through the process. So here's a big one. When do I apply? So these are the MILPER messages for the exact board dates. But if you scroll down here and just take a look at the chart, right, you can see board dates and then the packet deadline to warrant officer recruiting college. So this is the big one. This is the last day they will accept the packet for whatever board date. Okay, so if we look here, 2024 May, right? The last day you can submit a packet is 27 March. If you're trying to make it to the 22 to 26 July board, the last day you can submit a packet is 15 May. And like I said, if you can expect, right, the majority of cases, unless your warrant officer MOS is really hurting for people, if you submit on 15 May, you're probably not going to make the July board. Just being realistic, depending on your proponent and how many people there are in your branch, it's a tight deadline. So my packet's been with proponent for like 2 months. I don't know, something like that. But it takes a while, guys. So it's plan ahead. But this kind of explains each warrant officer MOS and when they're having boards, okay? When they will be boarded for that MOS. And it should come out in November, I think, for the next year's boards. Every year they release new board dates. So, and then you can pay attention. It'll post certain specific warrant officer MILPER messages that are related. All right. Here's a big one too. Okay, you can reach out to your regional recruiter. All right, your regional warrant officer recruiter can scrub your packet before you submit it, let you know what you need to do, and they can submit it for you. They can submit your packet for you, and they can check up on it and keep tabs on your packet. Now, some takeaways in case I didn't admit, just things I struggle with. Okay, things that had set me back and took a long time. All right, building good rapport with your warrant officers. I was fortunate. I had people that were close to my warrant officer that could vouch for my work and my technical expertise. But because the warrant officer, this is the CW3 or higher, and the squadron commander are going to be the most difficult letters. You have to have those letters of recommendation. You have to. And ideally, obviously a CW4 will more than likely hold more weight as a letter of recommendation than a CW3. So that's another aspect you got to look at it, because you're competing. Understand you're competing with people all over the world for your MOS for those positions, right? So every year whenever they hold the board, board members review everyone's packet, review everyone's career record and files, and they go through and they pick the ones that they feel will be the best. So you are competing. Your work history is competing against another, the entire world's Army personnel in your MOS, their packets. So it's vitally important that you get all your ducks in a row, and those letters of recommendation are strong, and your NCOERs are strong, because it's not just about submitting the packet. You also need to have a strong packet to compete with others, with the other people, the other higher highly motivated people that are in your MOS. Because I can promise you, the people that are submitting packets, that are actually getting their packets submitted, are dedicated. Because I promise you, it was rough. There were times I struggled with certain documents, and I kept getting setbacks, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it, because you need to submit a packet ideally before 12 years, because after 12 years, the age for federal service, active federal service, you need an AFS waiver, a waiver to waive 12 years, and they don't often give those out. That you try to get your packet in before then, because after that, it's really a roll of the dice on whether or not they will accept or approve your waiver. Okay. Yeah. So main takeaways: build rapport with your senior warrant officers, build rapport with your battalion or squadron commander, your company commander, and make sure when people are writing your NCOERs, you fight for your NCOER, you fight for your senior rater comments, and you let them know, hey, this is what I needed to reflect that I'm a technical expert in my MOS. I've done these jobs. I've completed this. I've been on these missions that are pertaining to your branch and your MOS. The main thing is stay dedicated, man. Keep pushing forward. Keep building the packet. But start as soon as you can. Build it little by little. So yeah, guys, that pretty much covers it. I hope this helps some of you understand the process to be applying to become a warrant officer. And it's a lengthy process, trust me, from my experience. So really make sure you take the time, start on your paperwork early, start filling out the forms, make sure you're filling them out correctly, start building rapport with your unit and, warrant officers and all of the people that you need to get recommendations from. It's vitally important. So start now, don't wait, get cracking on it, and just knock each form out little by little, and eventually you'll have the whole packet together and you'll be ready to submit. All right. So hopefully this helps you guys. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to know. Appreciate your time. Cherish life, enjoy your liberty, pursue your happiness. Peace.